What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of HBO's The Last of Us, the new drama series, survival series from Craig Mazin, adaptation of the blockbuster PlayStation video game franchise, starring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. Man, there was a lot of hype for the series, a lot riding on this series, and after one episode, I think the hype has been met. Fantastic premiere, and I'm just very excited to watch this series. I think I had a lot of faith in The Last of Us on HBO, just really due to the pedigree of the creators. Craig Mazin, of course, coming off Chernobyl, Emmy Darling, a show we reviewed on this channel, amazing series. To have him immediately take what he did with Chernobyl and just go right back into something in a similar subject matter, at least a little bit, with The Last of Us, and do that for HBO once again. There's just too much talent behind the scenes with this series. It doesn't feel like most video game adaptations. And I know there's been a handful of well received animated uh, gaming adaptations lately. To get something executed on so well in live action, I think is really impressive, and why this kind of rises above anything else in recent memory. Um, and that's just really exciting. You have Neil Druckmann, creator of the game, the head of Naughty Dog, directly involved in the writing and production of this series with Craig Mazin. So to have that direct creator involvement, I think is really impressive. And I think this does at least bode at least a bit well for the other like PlayStation Studios series that are in development, such as the God of War series. So probably more to come in the future. But yeah, I think The Last of Us, you don't have to be a fan of the games. I've only played the first game. I haven't played the second game. You don't have to be a fan of the games or really know anything about the games at all, I think, to like this series what it has, just because again the pedigree of it being at HBO, an HBO drama series, is all quite familiar. It's a survival thriller with zombies, but grounded in real emotional stakes and like real character moments. And when you have that strong rating and you have, I think, that appreciation for the stuff beyond the genre troping of the zombies and whatnot, it will feel better and stronger and different than other stuff of a familiar ilk. You know, Pedro Pascal playing Joel, his task to protect young Ellie, played by Bella Ramsey of Game of Thrones fame, that situation, that trope is quite familiar, right? We see on The Mandalorian, we've seen a lot of this plot in Children of Men. The Lone Wolf and Cub stuff is all quite well trod ground, but I think this series, kind of being, I think, grounded in how the people are affected first is why I think The Last of Us has a chance to really rise above this genre. I think zombies largely has felt played out in the genre space, movies and TV for quite some time. Right, the heyday of The Walking Dead was a long time ago. Even like zombies in video games is not exactly in vogue these days. And what's cool about The Last of Us is that again, it's not just about like the zombies, the clickers. It's not like what our thing is. It's about the actual characters, and I think that really bodes well for again this feeling different, this feeling like above other stuff of a similar subject matter. I think Bella Ramsey, who I really haven't seen much of apart from her memorable role as Lyanna Mormont in Game of Thrones, definitely brings a lot of fire as Ellie in that first episode, and I think she could be strong casting for sure. Definitely a rising actor, despite her age. And then, of course, Pedro Pascal. We know we're going to get with him. He's been one of our great actors for some time, and he actually knows this very well. Obviously, playing Din Djarin on The Mandalorian, so a lot of this should feel like second nature to him. I think I'll be curious to see exactly how the production feels as we move beyond the the safety, into these quarantine zones and whatnot as the story progresses, because the base that we spent a lot of time in the premiere in Boston definitely has a backlot feel, but I think it still looked really well, and the production felt big. And I'll be curious what the expansive sets, assuming be changing a lot as our characters are traveling around. I'll be curious to see how that fares. Um, I think another part of why The Last of Us premiere really lands is it has just a incredibly effective first 30 minutes, emotionally devastating first 30 minutes. 20 years in the past, if you will, for the show. And that, I think, being able to execute on something so emotional that well, again, shows you that there's more going on with this series than just the genre stuff, and that's really appealing to me. That I think it really makes you invested in Joel's pain and what it must be like to be him 20 years later, now entrusted in the care of a young girl once again. What will he do? Whether you've played the games or not, I think this is, again, something that you can appreciate and latch onto and be invested in. And that's what I'm just most excited about with this series. And, I don't really care about whether it's faithful to the game, quote unquote. I think the most important thing about this is to make a good television show. And I have the utmost faith in HBO and Craig Mazin to do that, especially with Druckmann, pitching in and helping out. So I really see no reason to not be excited. It's cool that this is, kicking off in mid-January as like the first big blockbuster series of 2023. HBO not wasting any time. That's awesome. And yeah, I feel like it's going to quickly become appointment viewing and be pretty thrilling, and honestly has a chance to, I think, be a gigantic series for HBO, especially in the first half of this year. So let me know, what do you think of The Last of Us? Have you played the games? Are you coming into this fresh? What do you think? What are you most looking forward to about the series? Let me know. And for more TV, more HBO, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.